Hello, welcome back to Project SR250. FedEx have delivered a package to my house this morning with some extra bits and bobs for the bike. So I'm very chuffed about that. I'll show you what's arrived and on the bench momentarily. The other thing did pretty good on eBay last night actually. Some people must have had some money left over from Christmas because I've managed to sell everything. The clip-ons went, the rear sets went, and the Hagon shocks went as well. And although I didn't get quite as much as I'd hoped for the rear sets, it wasn't bad, you know, I can't complain. But I did do well on the Hagons and the clip-ons, so I think I've kind of pretty much got the money I need to finish the bike, in theory. There's always things you don't think of, but it's kind of comfortable at the moment, so that's quite encouraging. Also means that the Bonneville is now committed to being a flat bar bike. I'm going to have no more chopping and changing. That can't happen anymore, so that's a bit scary, but there we go, never mind, you know, it's made the decision for me. But I have treated the Bonneville a little bit. I had a bit of an impulse buy this morning, and because I'd made a bit more money than I thought I was going to make, I ordered the British Customs direct mount front brake reservoir for the Bonneville, because if you remember, or if you've seen any of the back videos, for some reason the little piss cup started really annoying me on the handlebar. So this is just a nice smaller black direct mounting kind of neater arrangement, more minimal, which I rather like the look of, and kind of thought I'll take a punt. So coming up hopefully soon should be a install video of that and a review. I've always been completely satisfied with the British Customs stuff up till now, so I'm hoping that after spending the cash, this reservoir will be up to par as well, but we'll see, that's coming up. On to today, shall we have a look at what has arrived? Fresh shiny boxes of new stuff, lovely. We have the wheel bearing kits, front and rear, with dust seals. All Balls Racing have supplied those. Let's have our fingers crossed that old Cactus has managed to order the correct bearings this time and not have a repeat of the steering head bearing incident. So yep, we'll have a look at those in a minute. Fingers crossed they're a-okay. Got a oil seal for the rear sprocket carrier. When I was taking them apart to get them powder coated, it was pretty perished and a bit chewed up, so I think it's about £1.20, so I've ordered another one of those. And I did in the end plump for the engine mount bolts because I had a couple of that stripped. I know I probably could have got away with what's on there at the moment, but I don't know, I think it will just nag at me. At least I kind of, in theory, know that these are strong enough to take the job, and they should be okay. So 3 of those, they're sorted. And of course the YSS shocks. I'm in no way affiliated with YSS, it just is a complete happy coincidence that I got a good deal on the shocks for the Bonneville, and when I was ordering and looking for shocks for the SR, these came up. Good price, I think they were 60 quid, I think. So yeah, I've ordered these, and they're all black as well, which I wanted. A lot of the other ones were chrome, so whoops, sorry. So yeah, got these. Let's have a look at them. We've got bushes if we need them. A new C-spanner for the toolbox, and there we go. Very nice looking shock, nice shiny black. But yeah, looks cool. It's kind of what I wanted, a very kind of, you know, no frills, minimal black shock. I think they are the same, if not marginally shorter than stock SR shocks. I think they might be a direct replacement, but yeah, after consideration, when I was thinking about putting the Hagons on, I decided I didn't want the ride height higher up, I want it kind of low, so these bad boys are on. So that's cool, got that. The only thing I'm waiting for now from M&P is the chain and sprocket, but I've got enough to be getting on with. I've dug out me blurry microfiches, although everything's bagged up rear wheel, front wheel. My memory's not what it used to be, so it's nice to have a bit of a reference to check that everything's going back in the way it should be, spacers and all whatnot. So just to help me out a little bit. So I'm gonna now, don't know what I'm gonna do first. I might whip the shocks on, have a look at those, or I might start digging through all the stuff and getting all the wheel components lined up and ready to rumble. So I'll turn off now, have a decide what to do, and show you in a second. Okay, so shocks went out. That's what I think I'm going to stick on first, just quick and easy. They come, well, they came with, you got like the rubber bush in there, and then like a metal sleeve inside there, and they send you a packet of different size sleeves. You can either use them to reduce, depending on your shock bolt size. You see that one's slightly thinner wall than that one, and there's thinner walls, or you can run them without. I've just offered them up to the bike, and I need to run them without. The fitting goes over like the shaft of the top bolt, just with the rubber, much like the Hagons did on the Bonnie. So I need to remove the bushes out of these. Now sometimes you can usually just push them out almost with your finger even, or with very little force. These are, they're not vulcanized in, because obviously that would be pointless because they send you different sized ones, but they are extremely tight fit. So all I'm going to do is take a small, this happens to be a 10mm socket, and that is the same, it's fractionally smaller diameter, fractionally, than the bush, so that way whatever gets shoved through here isn't going to get stuck in the bush and just be left with the same problem. So slightly smaller there, so that covers it and pushes in there, and then I'll use another socket on the other side, which will fit around the rubber bush and not mark the shock itself. So that one, they'll both, the little one will push into the top, that'll go there, that whole arrangement goes in the vise, I'll wind it in and that'll slowly push it out. Let's watch this in practice. Right, there you go. So a little bit of a balancing act just to get it in there. I've gone for a longer socket actually on this side, just so I can, it'll push all the way through. Let me wind that in. Let's pull that out. Okay, it's near enough out. Can I wiggle this out? Oh, cool, you can see it's only just hanging on there. They are in pretty tight. There we go. That one out. Repeat for the other side. Okie doke, here we are at the arse end of the bike again. So I've put the one shock on already. This really doesn't warrant being filmed, does it really, but might as well show you as it all happening. I'm just using, because I've got some red rubber grease, and just squiggling a bit around on the inside of the bush, top and bottom. You can see what I'm about, like the, can you start picking up on this? Have a look. Like this, you got the threaded part here, and then like this shaft there, so that's acting like the bushes did. There we go. Shocks on. Oh, sorry, there we go. I did a quick bit of editing there. I came to put the bolts back on, and these dome head bolts and washers were all looking a bit grimy and skanky, so I've just quickly given them a quick clean over with Autosol and brought them up to standard, so they look nice on there now. Interestingly, as I said, that kind of shaft there that that the bush and the shock slides over, there's obviously a point where that gets smaller, and you've got the thread for this and this washer here. When I tightened this up, there was still a little bit of free play in the shock moving along that shaft, which I wasn't too happy with. So I've got these are actually 4 YSS shocks, but they were for the Bonneville, and you can just see I've just put one on the back there and other side and that side as well, so there is no play in the shock mounting area. They're not torqued down yet. I'm going to put a dab of thread lock on them, and what I will do is when things are a bit more sort of sorted out, you know, when the wheels and stuff going on, I'm just going to work my way gradually and torque everything down. I'm trying to think what needs to, you know, any bits that might need to come off or not. But I'll do it in one hit with the torque wrench, and just that way I can just methodically work from front to back and make sure everything is correctly tightened and torqued down. But there we go. I mean, the shocks are on. I think they look I mean, they look like a shot. Nothing really to write home about, but it's quite exciting for me to see it all sort of start to come together a bit. So there we go. Those bad boys are on. Let's have a look at the wheels now. Right, onto the wheel then. So I've dug through all the parts, dug out the spacers, got the axle with the various collars, plastic cups, spacers. There's quite a lot of bits and bobs on this one. The brake shoes and all the speedo driving seal are all back in there and greased up and put back together, so that's okay. So I'm just chewing my way through all this, trying to work out what is what, and I'm pretty clear now. So looking at the wheel on the brake side, in this side we'll put the bearing and an oil seal, then we'll put the spacer. The metal spacer in the middle goes in before we put the next bearing in, and then that's it. Those bits all kind of fit together and slide together then. So I'm pretty sure that's it, but once it's all together I'll quickly throw it up on there just to see that it all sits as it should. But let's begin. So I've got the new bearings, there we go, and they look like they fit. That's the old front wheel bearing, and it's exactly the same, so that's nice. Oil seal. So I've just got an old socket. I like this one because it's a nice sort of smooth flat face which will go against the outer race of the bearing, which is what I want to drive down on. So yeah, let's just get tapping away. Get that nice and flat on there. Going in, I use the old bearing to initially start driving it down. Okay, so I've got the first bearing sitting flush. Now that's got about another bearing width, so about that much width to drop down before it hits the shoulder where it seats. So you can see like the shoulder in there, just there. So same on the other side. Now this is why it's really handy to hang on to your old bearings if you can. I have a bag full of any bearing I take out, old bearings, because when you're driving these home you just want to be hitting the outer race of the bearing, and you can get bearing drivers. One day maybe I will pick one up, but I haven't got one, Normally just using the socket, which is the same diameter as the bearing, is enough. However, because it is the same diameter as the bearing, I'm not going to get it down far enough. It's going to I'm going to either hit around here or it's going to bottom out. So, and if that gets wedged in there, I might not be able to get that out either. So I've taken the old, so that's the other side, old front wheel bearing, and then I've just dremeled the side of it, popped all the ball bearings in the inner race out. So we've got that now, which is the same size but can be bent a little bit there, so it's not going to get stuck in. If it does get a little bit stuck in, it's just going to take a light tap with the lip in there from the inside to get it out. So I'll be using that to tap round and get that bearing down. Carefully, because I don't want to mark the powder coat or bash my fingers. And there we go, seated in there, and that is now flush against that shoulder. I'll just double check, shine a torch from the other end. Okay, so at this point remember to put your spacer in the other side, because that would suck if you bang the other bearing in and then forgot, and repeat the process. Oh, actually, I'll put my oil seal in. Just going to rub a little bit of grease around that. Right, we'll seal in. There we go. That's the other one in. Let's just check that the hub fits in okay. Right, so the brake's just back in its place. That's on. So let's. I'll just give the axle a bit of a clean up, and we'll sling it on the front just to check everything's fitting like it should do. Wheels buttoned on. Beautiful. Excellent. Just need some tyres and we're rocking. Onto the rear wheel. Okay, so rear wheel. I've just had me flow interrupted here because the camera filled up of memory, so I've had to just go and upload a load of stuff onto the computer in readiness. So I don't know if we've caught the tapping in of the rear wheel bearings, but essentially it's exactly the same process as the front. I used a 30mm socket this time just to tap on the outer race to get them seated in. Almost forgot to put the spacer in, but remembered at the last minute, which is lucky. But something I've just noticed, a good thing, the All Balls bearing kit, when they say they do a rear wheel kit, it is a very comprehensive rear wheel kit, because they do actually include the bearing for the sprocket carrier. Now this is the sprocket carrier here. I wasn't going to change that because there isn't actually anything wrong with the bearing. It's perfectly fine, no grindy, no notchy, no noise. But as it's all apart, and I have a spanking new bearing, and it came with the dust seal as well, so I wasted £1.20 on a secondary dust seal, because originally all I was going to do was just change that dust seal. But I've got everything to replace it, so as all new bearings are going in, it would be stupid not to change it. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to have to tap this bearing out. There's a little spacer which goes behind it, so that I've driven that out, and we'll just tap this out so it'll be from the back out of the front. So bear with me while I do that. I'll probably just use a drift of some description. Let's have a little root round and see what I've got. Okay, I think I'll stick with the 30mm socket. That fits quite nicely in there, and just a bit of brute force and ignorance, really. There we go, the bearing is out, nice and easy. So we'll just stick the new one back in. Got larger to what we got here, 36mm. As this is set much lower down in, we might have to go to the old chopping up a bearing race, so I can get it in and then get whatever I've used to whack it home out again, because that is going to be just, well, it's exactly the same size as the bearing, so I don't want to get that stuck in. Seal clip in. Where have I put the dust seal? A little bit of grease on that. Sit in there like that. Excellent, so that's the rear carrier sorted. Let's repeat and get this bad boy on the bike. Oh, cush drive rubbers. Where have I put those? Right, wheel, get the cush drive rubbers. Which way round they go. go. There's that. Right, just need to find the rear brake shoes, and we can stick this one on the bike. And there we go. Wheels, well, not buttoned down, but mounted up, and just checks they're rolling and braking nicely. There it is, starting to kind of look like a motorbike a bit more now. So, hurrah! There we go. I'm pretty chuffed with that. All went together very smoothly and easily. So it's really now waiting for the chain and sprockets, and yeah, decide on those tyres and get these wheels up and get them get some tyres put on them as soon as I can. I'm gonna have to wait until I've got the car, because I've only got the bike whilst Jen's at work, and it's kind of difficult to strap these on the back of the Bonneville. But we will get that sorted out fairly soon. All in all, pretty chuffed with this evening's work. Yeah, and it's quite nice to see it starting to come together. It's the first time I've seen it with the black wheels on there, and yeah, if you can just kind of envision some good big circles of rubber. I need to make some measurements on the front there as well and work out how big I can go with the front tyre, how wide. But yeah, it's looking alright, I think, you know. Despite what Del Boy says with an SR250, if you've caught the Q&A. But just joking. No, it's getting there. It's looking alright. So thanks for watching. See you next time.